I'm dead serious. Tinker Doomsday may be my next paper deck. Let's run it through a prelim and see what we can do against the best players on the platform. All right, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. Quick deck tech here. We're jumping right into a Vintage prelim. I am just going to play the Tinker Doomsday deck that I've been working on. The only difference between this list and the last list, which you can definitely find on my YouTube, and the Stream Decker, which I'll link in the description below. The only change is I'm going to try a Chain of Vapor instead of a Repeal. Everything else is the same. I guess maybe there might have been an opposition agent here. I'm going to play Shieldred instead, especially with it being a prelim. Bizarre might be a little bit heavier in the metagame. Shieldred is really nice there, so I'm gonna run like this today and see you in round one. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round one, Vintage Prelim. Battling Echo Baron. Could be anything. Doomsday, Bug. So if I DT for console, I can't DT for console. I can DT Ancestral. I can DT Lotus and pass with Lotus up, and then go Yogwill, DT for console with Flusterstorm backup. There's like a lot of ways that goes badly, but even if they go for like Collector Oof, I could technically beat Collector Oof with Force, or even Force Fluster. If I could instead just DT for Tinker. Or sorry, just instead Yogwill DT for Tinker. So this is actually fine. We actually have Force Fluster, and that might even be a better line, is DT for DT for Lotus, play Lotus, pass, untap, crack Lotus, Yogwill, crack, play Lotus, DT for Tinker with Force backup. If we hit a land, we DT for Tinker with Force Fluster backup. I don't know. There's a lot to like about this hand. Lots of restricted Magic the Gathering cards, so this also will play into Mindbreak Trap, but that's fine. I would like to just do the powerful thing and make my opponent beat it. I think playing the Fluster or the Lotus out is better than not playing the Lotus out. It just gives us more options. Jet. Yeah, I'm going to pitch the Thassa's Oracle. Because I can do the Tinker line, which is probably better than the console line anyways. Mono white. Alright, we're just winning then. I could keep the Oracle and go Oracle then. Or can I not? Because I can go Yogwill, replay, 5 mana. DT. No, I can't. I have to go Tinker. All right, well, either way, I don't need Flusterstorm, so. Petal. All right, I mean, that should just beat them too. Okay. Yeah. Play the broken cards. The broken cards include Yogwill and Lotus Petal. I am an extremely, extremely strong believer that not playing Lotus Petal in your Doomsday deck is just incorrect. That is something I'm pretty firm on. Having an additional blue-black source of mana for 0 is just so broken. And obviously the Lotus Petal didn't matter a lot here, but this is just like, I don't know. Yogwill, Demonic Tutor are restricted for a reason, or well, Yogwill is restricted for a reason. Petal's restricted. Like these cards are restricted for a reason. They do broken things. So yeah, obviously I didn't need Petal in that game, but I'm just trying to make a point. So my opponent is playing mono white. I've been considering maybe playing a Portal to Phyrexia in my sideboard. Instead, we're just going to play Fatal Push, Ruin, and Snuff Out again. I'm on the draw. I definitely want to have Negation, Trap. Dress Down is also appropriate here. I don't really like the idea of tinkering for a Sphinx really ever, so I'm just going to take out Necropotence, Dig Through Time, Yawgmoth's Will, Mental Misstep, Gataxian Probe, Flusterstorm, and Flusterstorm. Yeah, I mean, Cavern Archon is an issue, for sure. I mean, it's very hard for us to play through Cavern Archon. Our deck is a very traditional vintage deck where you don't play a lot of removal and you're instead focusing on doing blue broken things, which is exactly the kind of deck that Mono White Initiative preys on, really. It's like the whole reason Mono White Initiative is a viable deck in vintage is because people like me will play these broken Tinker decks that don't play removal. Submit. Our hand suck. No bueno here. Let's try again. This one's better. This one has a lot of issues as well, but it's definitely better. Is there a world in which I don't think I need this Mystical. I think we just negate their first Moxen, go for Dark Ritual Doomsday, and then try to build a really strong pile. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. Especially because I might be breaking this. I might be pitching Time Walk to negation, which is like part of my piles. So we'll have to see exactly what Echo Baron chooses to do here. But like we're going to have to build a pile that's good against Wasteland. Which is going to be quite difficult to do. All right, so if my opponent goes turn 1 Thalia, how much do I care? A lot. I care a lot. But am I willing to counter just Sapphire? I don't think so. Can also negate a Null Rod as well. I think the Sapphire is not high enough on the chain here. I mean, if we get Thalia, it is still bad for us. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, all right. Well, I'll negate the second one because I don't want to get Archoned. This pile is going to be incredibly difficult to build. So I don't know. All right, well, they had 3 Moxen, so nothing really matters here. Oh, is it going to be... Okay, interesting. All right, they had planes anyways. Okay, I mean, worse things have happened. Though we do have to draw extra mana here. What did I put to the bottom? Mystical? Yeah, not much I could have done about that. This is an Archon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is still extremely bad. So how do I win this game? I need to draw land this turn into Virtue's Ruin, and even that might be a turn too slow. So if I fetch I don't have my Portal in my deck anyways. Yeah, I don't know. This is like another hand where Portal would really, really be helpful, but not that I have a Portal in my hand anyways. Maybe my hand is a mulligan. I mean, it was a good keep. They had triple Mox Thalia. I mean, I'm not going for anything. I can't cast spells. I'm trying to figure out if I play my Mana Crypt out, can I win the game? Like if I play my Mana Crypt out and I draw, so I take 7 this turn, maybe 8 this turn, going to 10. I would need to draw. I actually I'm drawing dead, right? I think I'm just completely drawing dead. Yeah, I'm drawing dead here. I don't know. There's like, I don't even think there's a world where I can get out of that if I had a portal, so. So the question then becomes on the play, am I still going to play negations? Considering I'm mostly a turn 2 combo deck, I think the answer is just yes. I know that some people don't like that choice, but I think I'm going to continue playing this the way that I have it drawn up. Basically, the game plan is I'd like to use negation or trap to counter their negation to counter their first Moxen to give me an extra turn and then untap and kill them. Portal is Portal to Phyrexia. It's a 9 mana artifact that they sack 3 creatures and then you start to revive them from the yard. It is basically good against mono white, and it might be good against bug, which might be a convincing reason to have it in my sideboard, to be honest. I don't know exactly which card I want to cut from my sideboard. Like, I have 3 removal spells, but I kind of think they all have viable reasons to be in the sideboard. So I would have to cut something else. Maybe the answer is I can trim a negation. Maybe the answer is this dress down is actually not good. That could be the answer. Maybe the dress down just becomes... I mean, the dress down hasn't been great for me, but I think it would be really nice to have a portal. So maybe we'll try that at some point. I was considering it after watching Jarvis's stream. I was definitely thinking about, do we want to play a portal? And I don't know. I haven't decided. It kind of depends on how I think the mono white matchup actually is. But the fact that it actually is good against the new bug builds that are playing 4 Bowmaster, 4 Oof, then maybe it actually makes a lot of sense to have it in my sideboard. So this hand has top spin. So this hand has top spin. If I draw a fetch land or black source, I have ritual to 3, ritual to 5, DT for ugh. Wish I kept Necro in my deck. Because then I could Necro here. If I hit a land off the Sensei's top. If I hit on the next if I spin and I draw a fetch and I play it on my next turn, does that change anything? I can go ritual to 5, crypt to 7, DT to 5. I can't play Citadel. If I go... I think this hand is just not good enough, unfortunately. I can't see a like super convincing line forward here. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. No, I think turn 1 Doomsday is not good there. I would say it's not good there. Playing its mono white. I think this hand is unfortunately also bad. It would be turn 1 win with force backup if I had a land in my hand, but I don't have a land in my hand. So I can't just like play Lotus Go, hope to draw a land. What if I don't think there's anything good here. Yeah, and there's also, of course, both of my hands have been very bad against Chancellor. That is also true. If I were to like Dark Ritual into Doomsday, it's just not good. It's kind of one of the downsides to having your deck have no Street Wraith is makes your Doomsdays a lot less potent sometimes. Not that Dress Down would be a Street Wraith, because that's the only card in this deck that wouldn't be a normal Doomsday card. But if Dress Down was a Street Wraith, then things get at least a little bit more interesting. My opponent kept 7. I'm just gonna mulligan. Like, we have London. We can draw Tinker. Yeah, this is fine. Keep bottom Oracle, bottom Citadel. Probably. Done. Time Walk into Ancestral. No, you don't understand. Like, London Mulligan is completely and utterly broken in half, and your 4 and 5 card hands can easily win you the game. Like, your 4 card, you can win the game with just a 3 card hand. If you have Mana Crypt, Sapphire, Tinker, it's a super easy win. People need to mulligan a lot in Vintage. Mulliganing is really, really strong. I'm just going to get the blue-black land, Time Walk to give us an extra look, and then see where we get from there. I mean, Tinker clearly isn't so broken that it's too good. Like, Tinker's not doing... Tinker is a terrible... Tinker is really bad right now. There aren't very many good Tinker decks. Whoa, crazy lag. Yo, welcome, Jarvis. Hope you had fun. This hand looks pretty good so far. I am missing a black mana to Doomsday, but I have Force and Snuff out. 7 card hand against mono white. Not a bad mull to 5, all things considered. Yeah, okay. With Snuff out, I have a lot of room to work with in terms of forcing. Don't think I need to force at all. Especially considering I'd like to be able to force like a Null Rod or something. Need for Speed. Thanks for the resubs, everyone. Appreciate it. Did MTGO bot fix itself? Okay, it hasn't. So we're in game 3 of the first round of the Vintage Preliminary. We're up against powerful wizard Andreas Peterson on Mono White Initiative. Here comes a white creature. Hopefully it's just like an Archon, so I can just go to the end of turn and snuff it out. Thalia. That's also fine. Yeah, so I can just force this paying 1 and snuff out end of turn paying 1. I mean, that puts us on not much anything, but... Does it make more sense to just snuff this out now and not pay 1? Does it do anything? Is it any different? I get to hold my fetch land. Is holding my fetch land good? I guess holding my fetch land is good. Okay. Draw. All right. We've got a plan. Time to make a pile. Oh boy. Sure hope I don't mess this up. So I think the hand needs to be Gush. Huh, hold on. The hand should probably be Ancestral on top. I guess it just beat everything. Ancestral on top just beats everything, right? Like if they have Wasteland... I guess if they have Wasteland Null Rod... that would mean I need to just put a land in the pile. So I think if we just make this hand Ancestral on top with Oracle, Oracle, land. That would lose to a Solitude. So maybe what we want to do is... So maybe what we want to do is Ancestral, Time Walk. Because an Ancestral Time Walk pile gives us a play against Mindbreak Trap as well. So if I do Ancestral, Time Walk, Land, Oracle, Oracle, that seems pretty good to me. Yes, you are absolutely correct that Island is better than Sea to avoid Archon. Though we are slow versus Archon, so I don't know if that matters too much. Maybe it just doesn't matter. Like if we cast Ancestral against Archon and play Island, it just literally doesn't matter, right? So I don't think that matters at all, but I'm going to just go with this original hand. There might be a slightly better one, but this is what I was thinking. I mean, you can use Lotus. I just think my opponent could play Null Rod or something, so I would rather just not worry about Lotus. Instead, I'm going to go Oracle, Island, Oracle, Time Walk, Ancestral, and this gives me a lot of redundancy. If they play Archon, I take one hit. It's fine. I don't think my opponent's deck plays Mental Misstep, so I don't think there's any good reason to play around Mental Misstep, and my opponent could be on like Mindbreak Trap. I think this hand plays around everything, right? So if my opponent, like the best case scenario for my opponent is land, plains, Archon, in which case we go Ancestral down to one card, and then on the next turn we just go Island, Oracle, and it's fine. And then if my opponent goes like Null Rod, Wasteland, we still have 2 lands in play. We cast Ancestral, draw Island, Oracle, and win. If my opponent has Mindbreak Trap, we have Island, we have Ancestral into Time Walk, into Island at Oracle, win. If they play Peacekeeper and name Ancestral, we still get to go Ancestral, Island, pass, untap, Oracle. So that's still good. If they go, I can't think of anything that we would lose to with this pile. I guess if they had exactly Mental Misstep plus Creature, right? And these decks don't play Mental Misstep, right? I'm just trying to figure out a way that our pile could lose. I don't think most builds play Mental Misstep, but one of the nice parts about playing against Andreas is Andreas doesn't just copy and paste lists. Andreas makes changes that he thinks are good and has a very large amount of knowledge about the format. So like I wouldn't put it past our opponent to like change a list and put a Mental Misstep in the list. But I think my pile is only weak to Mental Misstep. I think every other card we have covered. I guess if they play a Phyrexian Censor, we Ancestral, we play a land, they attack for 3. And then like so like something we could lose to Chalice. Most lists aren't playing Chalice, but they could technically play Chalice on 1 or 2, I guess. Sure. I'm just trying to think about. So something that we could lose to is if our opponent goes Plains Archon and then goes Wasteland Peacekeeper. Right? So if our opponent plays an Archon and then plays Wasteland Peacekeeper, that would keep us off of 4 mana. So that would beat us. That's kind of interesting. But I'm not really sure if I can build a pile that plays around something like that. Like, I don't have the ability... Can I put Snuff Out in my pile? Could I have put Snuff Out instead of, like, second Oracle? I don't want to lose second Oracle, though. Maybe I don't need 2 Oracles. There might have been... I don't know. I think at the very least, the pile we made was good. I'm not 100% sure it was optimal, but that's okay. We don't need to be optimal all the time. All right, round 2, Vintage Prelim. We're up against Ned. I don't know if I've played versus Ned too much. Our hand does not have blue mana. This hand does not look good enough. Let's try again. There's no... I would always try not to consult for non-deterministic if I can help it. And this hand certainly isn't even that strong if I consult anyways. Let's mulligan this hand. What is this? So this hand is... Probe, Fluster. Man, These tops are a lot worse than preordains in this situation, for sure. If these were preordains, this hand gets a little bit closer. Obviously, there's a lot of opponents' decks where like Lavinias and Thalias and stuff make this hand not keepable anyways. I'm not really convinced that we have enough power. We don't have like a payoff. If we have, I mean, we do have 2 draws. I don't have a force though. 2 draws, a spin. We still have ritual, though I'd probably want to be going blue mana. I'm a pretty like dangerous keeper, but even I think this is probably not enough. I'm gonna mulligan this. I have London, right? Okay, this is fine. Keep this. Pretty far from Doomsday. I think what I'm going to do is keep my force and then give myself top colorless and the ability to look for a path forward. And this gives me a lot of options. It's not a very powerful hand, but it is at least a hand that has a functional plan. Another mono white gamer. I don't think I can afford to be like super aggressive on forces here. I have to kind of just hope they don't have a cavern and force their threat instead. Sometimes if I have like a good hand, then I can obviously force this Chrome Mox, but yeah. So if they had a cavern, obviously it's really bad for us, but at least this way we're moving forward. This game is going to be quite hard to win. We do need to probably do something like Tinker. Something that doesn't cost too many cards. And they also have a Wasteland. The good news is they probably don't have a cavern, so we can do something like fetch island, spin for a blue card, and force their next threat as well, which will leave them with 1 card in hand, or maybe 2 cards in hand, 1 card in hand. Oh, they don't even have a next threat. Really? Interesting. So I'm not going to fetch. I'm just going to draw naturally, and then we can use our Ruby and our fetch to find something. So now I can spin and find a Dark Ritual and Dark Ritual and Necro and just draw a million cards, and I'll have Force back up, and they won't even have Cavern. This looks quite good. Just need to find a Dark Ritual, obviously. All right, so none of those are Dark Rituals. So I need to leave a blue card on top so that I can force an Archon or something. And I guess I would rather have access to this mystical tutor for something like Tinker. So let's just leave the dig on top, and then that's fine. It's possible that if we don't have... No, I still can't fetch, really, because I need to have black mana. So I can't really respin unless I respin on my upkeep here. I probably... well, getting an Underground Sea just doesn't help us, right? Well, I guess I could get the Underground Sea. Okay, this does help us, right? So if I spin and I get the Underground Sea, and then I hold the Underground Sea, and then use my top to draw Mystical at end of turn, and then Mystical for Tinker off of Island. And that means that like even their initiative draws, I don't have to force. So that actually looks quite good. So what I'll do is I'll stack Dig, Mystical, Underground. Well, no, I guess I should... I'm so bad, right? I should do it the other way where I draw Mystical. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. If I draw Mystical instead of Underground Sea, then I don't need to worry about... There's like some instance that I don't need to worry about, I think. Maybe it's okay. So if my opponent plays an initiative creature here, we don't care. If they play an Archon, we do still care, and we'll have to draw into our Mystical. They just have nothing. This feels lucky for us. So I will draw the Mystical. And then crack, fetch for basic island, Mystical for Tinker. And then Tinker with... I guess I technically could go Dark Ritual and Necro. So do I think I have a higher win percentage chance if I Dark Ritual and Necro versus land Tinker? Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, I have a force in my hand, so it's likely that the force is good enough for the Necro to be winning. Though I do get my Underground Sea Wastelanded, so my Doomsday has to draw me, I mean, fetch blue card Ritual Doomsday or something like that. Or my Necro has to draw me that. I'm going to Tinker, but I'm actually not 100% sure that it's actually better than Necro here. Like, if I hit land on top of my Tinker and then they play Archon, it's much worse, right? I could be convinced that this is wrong. In fact, I'm almost convincing myself that it's wrong. I mean, it's a Citadel at 18, but I have no land drop to give. If I hit any land and then they play Archon, it's bad, right? Well, if I hit Doomsday, I just win on the spot, so that's good too. I mean, it is one of the best Citadel decks I've ever made, for what it's worth. I'm just going to make a pile that is Ancestral into Lotus, Sapphire, Oracle, and then... Oh, I only have one Oracle. All right, so I'm just going to make a pile that's Ancestral into Lotus, Sapphire, blue card, and then Oracle off the top. That's fine. Yeah, I have a family gathering into a wedding into a vacation. So I'm just not around Saturdays. I'll be streaming the normal amount. I'll be streaming, I think, extra days like this day and maybe like a Tuesday or a Friday or something. I need to build up a backlog because I want to make sure I release a video every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So yeah, I really am concerned though. I really want to try to find somebody who will do data, but all right, so Ancestral, draw all of these cards. Oh, I messed up. I did the wrong order. How did I mess that up? So now if my opponent has... I guess I can just time walk. Doesn't help me though. I guess if my opponent has Solitude, I have Force, so it's fine, I guess. What if I just play... Oh, I can't play Necro and draw. Well, I can play Necro. Okay, I can play Necro and then Exile with the top card. That's kind of funny. Okay, so I'll do that. Well, I'll have one card in my library, so it's not useless. I don't. Oh, wait, this is my last card. Okay, I built the pile correctly. Never mind. I saw one card in library, and I was like, I thought I built this pile with 0 cards in libraries. Yes, you're right. So I built the pile exactly how I wanted to build the pile, where I had Oracle as my last card. I was like, why does this number say 1? Anyways. But yeah, I'm going to be off the next 3 Saturdays, which means I don't have anyone to do data on those Saturdays, and I would really like people to do data. All right, so mono white, we just played against mono white. What I like to do is bring in trap, negation, dress down, snuff out, push, ruin, and then take out dig, necro, yog, mental misstep, Cataxian probe, fluster. I don't know. I really like this deck. I'm pretty sure that this is the deck I'm going to be working on going forward for Push for Eternal Weekend. I think that Doomsday is the best deck in the format, and I think that I played this deck better. So even if this deck is like Doomsday but slightly worse, if I play it better, I think I'm willing to take a slightly worse Doomsday against the field. It's certainly stronger than playing like 2019 Esper PO. I think this deck is probably easier to play in paper than like... playing PO in paper stinks. I really dislike playing PO in paper. I think this hand's kind of bad. Is that crazy? Like, if this deck, say this deck is, it ends up being only slightly worse Doomsday, being slightly worse than the best deck in the format is something I'm willing to take, right? It also lets me play with all my Moxen. Small victory, that doesn't matter much. Also, I kind of enjoy playing this deck, whereas I don't really enjoy playing traditional Doomsday very much. I'm going to keep this hand and see how it goes for the science. I don't know if this hand beats, well, now I really wish I had a blue card, huh? Oh, just Athalia? Okay. Just Athalia is not too bad. That's a good draw, too. Gonna fetch a basic island. We should be able to power through Athalia, like, super fine. Play a Mox, has force up. You just play a slow Doomsday. I probably have to counter, like, most threats here, unfortunately. Because it's not like I can Doomsday and kill on my next turn because of Thalia. I would have to pay 2 for Dark Ritual and then use my island to play for Doomsday, and then I wouldn't be able to preordain anyways, but maybe it's worth. I don't think typical Doomsday is that tough to pick up. I think the addition of Thassa's Oracle makes the deck extremely friendly, actually. Oh, they kept in Lauren. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Do I care? I don't really care. Yeah, it might just be annoying enough that I'm gonna force it. So I think Doomsday is like it's kind of a myth that Doomsday is like super hard to play, because that was back when you didn't have Thassa's Oracle, was when it was super hard to play. I do think that there is like a learning curve to Doomsday though, because the beginning piles are very easy, but like building a pile around some sort of nonsense makes the deck a lot harder. So I'm not saying that Doomsday is easy to play. Doomsday definitely takes some work getting used to, but I don't think it's like super hard either. All right, so I am going to make sure I fetch instead of playing my Underground Sea, and then I'm going to Dark Ritual and cast Doomsday, and then we're going to have to build a pile that wins through Thalia and maybe Wasteland and maybe anything. So this could be challenging. So what do I want to do? I kind of want to put an Underground Sea in this pile that I can fetch. Like I said, Doomsday when your opponent doesn't have anything is very easy. Doomsday when your opponent has Thalia, plus you have to worry about Null Rod Wasteland, Anointed Peacekeeper, all of those cards, is quite tough. Ancestral into Oracle. I mean, that will work if my opponent does nothing. And it's definitely something I am considering. Ancestral into Oracle definitely beats Thalia, no other cards. I agree with that statement. And I do think Ancestral is easily our top card, because there's no world in which we aren't able to cast Ancestral unless our opponent has Anointed Peacekeeper as their follow-up card. What beats Archon next turn? Not much of anything. Is Gush better here? Gush is not better here if my opponent Wastelands me right now, because I guess theoretically, if my opponent has just Wasteland, well, Gush also costs a mana, so it's not even like you're saving on mana. I'm pretty sure our hand needs to include an Ancestral Recall. It needs to include an Underground Sea. Because I'd like to be able to, well, if I cast Ancestral Recall, there's actually no reason to have an Underground Sea in our deck, and I already have an Underground Sea in my hand. So I actually think we're going to bypass that. I think we're just going to have Ancestral, Lotus, Oracle, and then the considerations after that. I think we would like to have a Time Walk after our Ancestral for redundancy. Well, the Time Walk costs 3, though. So if I cast Ancestral, I can't even Time Walk the same turn. I don't even know if that's actually good. I'm just not going to read chat, because I'm just going to try to figure this out on my own. But chat, feel free to say whatever you think. Because if I'm just looking at chat the whole time, then I'm not doing any learning, which is not really going to help me here. I'll definitely look at chat after I make the pile and see what we could have done better instead. I think I like the idea of Ancestral, Black, Lotus, Oracle, and like maybe, how much life am I at? I'm going to go to 8 life. Can I snuff out? So if they have like no Wasteland, I Ancestral down to 2 mana. and I can just go Oracle. If they have a Wasteland, I can go pay for my Lotus and Oracle. If they have a... This is another situation where if they have an Archon, I can't really do anything about it because snuffing out isn't even good. Again, I don't need to put double Oracle in the pile. But maybe I should just put double Oracle in the pile. I'm going to go Ancestral Time Walk, Lotus, Oracle, Oracle. I think there are some ways that this loses. This is the exact same pile I made last time, right? I think there are some ways this loses, but... I think this is fine. Oracle, Lotus, Oracle, Time Walk, Ancestral. I think this is fine. The biggest concern is we actually still beat Archon, right? Just solo Archon, because we take 2, go to 5. We take 4, go to 1. So that's fine. Time Walk on top, plus a fetch Oracle with 2 cards. There's certainly something in that line. There's the Wasteland. So we still play through just Wasteland by Ancestral into Land, Lotus, Oracle. This does play into Trap, obviously, but we still play second Oracle next turn, so that's fine. I guess this also gets Solituded, but I think that's also fine. Like, if this gets trapped or Solituded, we just go to our next turn and do it again, so it's fine. All right, let's consider that other pile with Time Walk instead. So Andres had Time Walk and C in the deck with Fetch, Time Walk on top, and then Crack Fetch, 2 Oracle. So Oracle with 2 cards in the deck. Let me just write it down because I need visual. I'm a visual guy. Walk, C, Oracle, Oracle, something. So if I get Wastelanded, can I still walk? Yes. So I go down to 4 cards and I draw Walk. I cast Walk and I fetch C. I go down to 3 cards and I draw Oracle, assuming... What's my 3rd card here? Because if my 3rd card... Just wait on the fetching. Oh, I guess that's true. You don't need to fetch. So I can automatically always draw Oracle. So I can just walk, draw Oracle, and then fetch on the next turn. Okay. Yeah, that pile also seems good. And so if they play Archon, we just walk and play our tapped land. And then we draw Oracle, and we can fetch a card out of our library. And then we play Oracle. So if they have, so they'd have to have like Archon and Solitude. So what happens if they play Archon Wasteland with this hand? So if they play Archon Wasteland, we walk. We can't walk. Doesn't my pile also beats solo Archon? I guess this pile also beats Archon Wasteland, right? So if they Archon Wasteland, I can't walk, but I can play a land. And then... No, I just will never be able to... I would have to play my Underground Sea from my hand. And will I actually... I won't have the life... Will I? Will I have enough life? I'm at 7. I go to 5, and then I go to 1. I think I won't be able to fetch. So I think this pile loses to Archon Wasteland. Does my pile lose to Archon Wasteland? I get Wastelanded, I cast Ancestral. I play my Underground Sea, and then I untap an Oracle. So no. I think I like my pile, but there's definitely a lot of merit to a walk on top pile. Yeah, the Archon makes it a little annoying. It makes me kind of glad that I protected my Emerald, huh? If I hadn't protected my Emerald, where would that leave me? I think we would have had a hard time winning this game if I didn't force Lauren, so that feels like that was correct. Very interesting. Obviously, the Emerald is obviously weird here, but this is the same kind of stuff you need to think about with normal Doomsday. So this definitely has good crossover learning as well. All right, here we go. Round 3 of this vintage preliminary. We're up against ADM. ADM is normally on some kind of workshop deck, but it varies a lot. It can be Painter, it can be Aggro, it can be anything. Unfortunately, our hand, I don't think we're allowed to keep in general, but we're definitely, well, I mean, it's kind of close in general because you do have Sensei's Top, Spin, Natural Draw, Force. But these Doomsdays are really bad with Mana Crypt top. And also, I think my opponent's going to be on Shops, which makes these kind of hands worse. This hand's great. Keep. Just gonna bottom Oracle, pitch, cast, force, Tinker, and then Doomsday. Seems fine. If we draw like a Sapphire, then obviously we could change that. But I think I want both of these lands. Yeah, well, this looks like a pretty good 7-card Shops hand. So, okay, Wasteland. This could be extremely dangerous. Consult. So if I fetch Doomsday and they play second Sphere, man, this is going to be a nightmare. I mean, we have to go and do it. I don't think waiting does anything great for us. Could be wrong. Maybe I can wait one turn. So, like, I'm going to get my Underground Sea Wastelanded. So if my opponent has another Sphere or something like a Sphere... No, I don't think so. I think I want to do this hand so I can have a land in my hand and cast Ancestral. But maybe that just loses to everything. So maybe that was shit. Maybe I should have kept fetch in hand then. This is like the kind of hand where you would consider putting a bunch of Street Wraiths in it, right? I think I'm just going to go Ancestral. Oh, what I'm trying to say is when you're unimpeded, well, maybe you're not unimpeded very much. We've had a lot of very hard Doomsdays, but not every Doomsday is very hard. I swear, I promise, not every Doomsday is very hard. It just happens that every Doomsday we've cast today has been very hard. Okay, so I think I have this in hand. So what I want to do is go Ancestral Lotus, Land Oracle. What if I do Ancestral Lotus, Sapphire, Oracle, Land on the bottom? That's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I don't think I want to have double Oracle because I think I'm going to need all the mana I can get. So I think what I'd like to do is I think I want to have an Ancestral on the top of my library because I'd like to be able to just beat them if they have no Sphere. And then in my pile afterwards, maybe I will put Sapphire second. Sapphire, Lotus, Oracle, and then a land on the bottom. I don't know. That seems fine. Let's try this. Land on the bottom. Oracle, Lotus, Sapphire, Ancestral. Go. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard thing to gauge. You don't think that Doomsday provides free wins that an average player can utilize? I think it does. Oh, the hard games. Sure. Maybe other players are losing more hard games. That's totally a reasonable stance, I think. All right. So let's see what ADM has. Another Wasteland. All right. So we just very easily beat that with our pile. Unless they have main deck Mindbreak Trap. Or main deck Mental Misstep, for what it's worth. Sure. I still don't know what kind of shops they're on, if they're on aggro or not. So let's see. Against shops, we're going to bring in a Sphinx. We're going to bring in a Trap. We're going to bring in Negations. We're going to bring in Hercles. I think we'll bring in Dress Down. We might bring in Shieldred. We might bring in... So, like, what are their hate creatures? It's just Revoker, right? I don't think I want to bring in Push, Ruin, or Snuff Out. Maybe Push is okay. I'll think about it. Depends on how many bad cards there are. I actually have played 0 matches versus any kind of workshop since I started playing this deck, so... I'm thinking Dig Through Time, Necro, Yogwill, Mental Misstep, Taxium Probe, Fluster. It's kind of similar to Mono White. Flusterstorm, Flusterstorm. You definitely need to do a lot of... I think you get a lot better with Doomsday by doing a lot of reviewing of what you've done already. Like being able to go back and look at the VODs and reconstruct piles with additional information. I think there's a lot to be gained from that. Blood trail? What are we blood trailing? I would never be a Doomsday promoter. Come on now. But it is the good cards, so. This does bring in... I guess it matches the same number of blue cards. So the question is, do I have a card that's better or worse than Fatal Push? I don't know. I play Amulet in Modern, and I think I'm quite bad at Amulet for what it's worth. Amulet... I think they're kind of similar decks where the free wins with Amulet and Doomsday are kind of straightforward, but the more complex stuff is tough. I am not on the play. I am on the draw because we won game 1. I love playing Amulet. It's very, very fun. It's a lot of work for, I don't think, enough output, but unless you're Dom Harvey, I guess. I'm going to try no push. I'm not even sure I'm supposed to bring in this Shielder, but it's kind of a nice plan B. Might be good enough depending on what kind of shops they are. I don't play much Modern anymore, for what it's worth. Cut a top? Could. You don't want to cut too many artifacts, because Tinker is one of your primary game plans here. This is a hand that I would never consider against any deck other than Shops. But against Shops, this hand has a lot of merit. Multiple Moxen, multiple lands. Force maybe on turn. I wish I had a single payoff. I wish I had a single... I don't own the One Rings, so I don't have a full Amulet Modern deck. We are on the draw against an unknown type of Workshop deck. But at least prison or aggro. I don't think this is an easy mull. I do think I'm mulliganing this, but I very much value hands that have a ton of mana against Workshops, because the Workshop's primary way of beating you is turning you off of being able to cast your spells. So if you keep a hand that has a lot of mana, it's going to end up being good most of the time. But obviously this hand is just much, much, much better. I don't know. Mulliganing is so good. You don't want to mulligan, because being down cards is bad. 3-ball? Crucible of Worlds. Huh. Okay. That's it, though? So I do need to acknowledge that my opponent may have Mindbreak Trap or Archive Trap. Ooh, I haven't seen that card in a hot minute. Okay. So I need to make sure my pile contains a Chain of Vapor. Or Hercules. Negation. So here, I think it makes sense to not cast Doomsday. Well, I guess I can just cast Doomsday. I have negation. I can put fetch in my pile, put island in my pile, time walk, chain. This just should be just winning. I don't think this matters at all. I think I'm going to... I don't want to get wastelanded, so I do think I'm going to play fetch land. I mean, I guess I can get Mindbreak Trapped if I do this, but... I don't think I'm going to have a... I'm not going to be Archive Trap if I do this, but that's fine, I think. So I need my pile to at least include a land. And then it also needs to include Chain of Vapor. And I already have Time Walk, but I'm not guaranteed to have Time Walk on my next turn if I negate something. So I want to again put Ancestral on the top of my library. I think it's just fine to put Ancestral on the top of my library with Chain, Lotus, Oracle, and then C. And then... So again, this is just... Well, we don't need Lotus, right? We have Underground Sea and another Underground Sea. Oh, I guess we need to cast Chain. Yeah. I think Lotus is the best call for that. So my biggest problem with this pile is that, I mean, I'm already dead to Archive Trap, so there's no need to worry about that. What about Mindbreak Trap? Wait, this is fine. I think I'm going to go back and look at it after, but I think I'm going to try this for now, and then we'll... I'm not going to belabor the point. Yeah, this looks fine. Underground Sea last. Oracle. Chain, Lotus, Ancestral. I guess theoretically they can wasteland me. That won't even matter, right? They're pausing, so they might have Mindbreak, Archive Trap here, which we just lose to. So maybe Discover N would have not played into Archive Trap, but I'll battle. One thing that I would like to work on is patience. Patience is tough because you don't want to have too much patience and then make a bad play. You do need to jam sometimes. But I think if I had to have some retrospective in my, I would be saying I would probably be jamming too much. What is this? Oh. Oh, we're dead to that. That's unfortunate. I should have just put the Hercules recall on my pile instead of the chain. What am I, an idiot? I am an idiot. Yeah, this is easily beatable with a Hercules instead. I didn't even consider this. No, it's just there was no reason to put chain over Hercules. Right? There was just no reason to. I mean, I have this just directly beat. Man, super easy. Okay, I threw that game. Yeah, that was pretty bad. There was just really no reason to play Chain over Hercules there. Like obviously Chain costs less mana, so it makes more sense to me that I put it in my pile, but I mean, there were worlds where they could have like null rods and wastelands and spheres where Hercules is worse. I was figuring that if I had negation, I would be able to beat any possible play that they could put on the stack. I did not consider that negation would not beat Metamorph, so not a great hand, but yeah, I did not consider that at all. So it's okay. Try again. But I do think it makes sense to put Hercules in my pile over Chain. So opponent has mauled to 5. Don't think it makes sense to play fetch. And I am going to wait. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, I guess I did not need ancestral on their turn. Probably should have ancestral on my turn. Didn't matter. Yeah, I should have just main face ancestral for sure. Man. Five card hands, baby. All right, Torpor Brown 2. Okay. Well, I got options. Are we metamorphing again? Whoa! Phyrexian Dragon Engine. You got it. Top. I actually think we're not supposed to Doomsday because we can't protect ourselves from Archive Trap, where Tinker should just be winning. Like, we can even just Tinker a Sphinx. Like, I think there's no reason to cast Doomsday here. I'm just going to Tinker a Sphinx and not worry about bad things happening to me. Oh, I guess the bad thing that could happen to me would be Phyrexian Metamorph, though. We did just lose the Phyrexian Metamorph. Maybe we should just Tinker for Citadel. Might just end of turn chain and then Tinker Citadel instead. No, it's probably still worse than Sphinx. Ah. Checking for land. No, I think I am just going to chain the sphere. And just tinker. I think I'm tinkering for Citadel, actually. Well, I guess Citadel also loses to some of the same things, so maybe it's silly. Oh. Well, now I'm gonna go Citadel. Bouncing top is like kind of hard, weird for them to do, I would think. Maybe. So I have a Doomsday win right now. I have Tinker Citadel and leave top in play. I have Sphinx. I think we should just Tinker for a Sphinx, and then if it doesn't work, we can still Doomsday, right? I'm just gonna like Tinker this pedal away, and then we can play Doomsday if we want to. Like, I don't think my opponent has Archive Trap, but they could have Archive Trap, right? I guess if this was our plan, maybe it was better to just spin and find a land. All right, well, they clearly don't have Metamorph if they're going to do this play. Yeah, I almost don't even like my play that much. Definitely want land. In fact, I probably am interested in... I should have ordered this the other way. Well, trying to figure out a way I can get a force. I guess they need to have a lot go right. If I just go land and then I go demonic at Hercules, though, that should just be good enough. So maybe what I want to do is just draw 2 lands. Just going to activate top and draw. And then just put the other land on top. I'm not convinced that I made... I kind of like the Sphinx line a lot. But there definitely is a lot of arguments to any of the other winning lines. So if I just demonic for Hercules here, there's no losing, I think. So. Oh, I don't actually have another land. Well, Archive Trap is very much in ADM's range. Yeah, I mean, I have Island for Ghost Quarter, but I don't have another land off of this strand. Like, what their outs in their deck are just Metamorph, right? Just Sphinx. And we can beat a Metamorph. Oh wait, does Metamorph get stopped? No, it's this doesn't stop Metamorph, right? Yeah, they have Metamorph. Doesn't stop. All right. So they had a Metamorph, but they didn't have the mana to pay for it because they sphered themselves. If they hadn't sphered, they would have been able to cast this Metamorph. But like I said, I covered that with the TT. So we should probably have done this in a 3-0 fashion, but of course I played badly and we made a slight mistake in our pile in game 2. But overall, I would have to think that this deck fares pretty well against most shops things that are happening. So not bad, not bad, not bad. All right, welcome to the 4th and final round of this vintage prelim. Currently 3-0. We are playing against X-File, the other 3-0. X-File was working on a variety of workshop ring decks. I don't know if that's still what's going on here. This hand has Force and 5 mana and a Citadel. I keep these hands. There's things that can go wrong. There's things that can go right, but this is in my... Ooh, that's not a workshop. Maybe they're on the blue ring control deck now, which would probably be bad for me here. Lotus Petal. Oh, maybe they're on Narset. Can I get away with letting Narset resolve to give ourselves the ability to maybe have Citadel Force backup? What's the likelihood I have Citadel Force backup next turn? It's 13. It's 18. Not that high. I'm gonna force this. I'm gonna leave my other force in case I draw a blue card. Even then, I have Hardcast Force as well, so there's some upside. I drew Ancestral Recall. That's interesting. I think I want to cast Ancestral on their upkeep using Petal. This plays around Negation and Fluster and Trap. And we do lose a land, but... yeah, that's fine. All right, we definitely didn't draw any lands, but we drew some good blue cards, so... Saga is a little bad for us here, I must say. Twister. We can't be twistering here. I think we need to hit... a land, then Time Walk, then Mystical Yogwill or something like that. All right. So I think I'm going to Mystical Yogg. I mean, if they do have a force after all of this, we do lose for what it's worth, but unfortunately they just kept throwing haymakers at me. All right. Lotus. All right. Concession. So I technically could play Citadel, but I think I'm more interested in Ancestral Time Walk Mystical. I might even just have a lethal Doomsday here. Lotus, Petal, Fetch, Blue, Doomsday. I don't think I have a deterministic Doomsday. It would depend on what other cards I drew from Ancestral. I think I would just be more interested in just like casting Ancestral and seeing what I drew. But I do actually have hardcast Citadel here, but I just don't think that's good when I have Mystical, Walk, Ancestral. I don't know. Yogwill is the good cards. So are all the restricted ones, so. All right, I think my opponent is probably on blue-black ring control. Narset, Twister, Saga, C. They could be on some kind of wheels or Initiative Tinker as well. Which means I'm going to bring in Shieldred. I'm going to bring in Mindbreak Trap, Negation, and Dress Down. And then I'm going to take out Island. I'm going to take out a Flusterstorm. I'm going to take out Mental Misstep. I'm going to take out Mystical Tutor. And Chain. Chain might be good. They could have a Hull Breacher, I guess, or a ring that I want to bounce. Feels like I'm not wanting to bounce a ring most of the time, though. Chain's... I think I want to have access to Chain. So then what am I doing here? Maybe we're just trimming at top then. Well, I don't even know for sure what my opponent's deck is on. I kind of think they're on like the blue-black Demir deck, which doesn't have any flusters. Maybe I just don't even play fluster. Yeah, the problem is I need cut cards, right? Maybe I do this. They're on like 8 forces, though. I don't know. I don't know. I need more games with it. Yeah. I mean, this folds to turn 1 Hull Breacher, but I don't think I was supposed to board out Fluster. Fluster looks good here. All right, I'm gonna keep this hand and live with the consequences. Sure. I guess, I mean, kind of does. Yeah, I guess that is something we could technically do. But like if they Hold Breacher, like, oh, okay, it's just Citadel, it's just C go. This is game 2. Ancestral on my upkeep, I assume. Up to 9. Okay, up to 8, I guess. All right, so we're gonna bait negation with this Lotus. Now resolved. Well then, it resolved, you say? Dark Ritual Doomsday? crack Lotus, play Preordain. Or maybe I just get my Ancestral countered and then I go and break my pile with Preordain. Though if I get my Ancestral negated, can I still win? So if I were to go and crack here and play Ancestral Recall and it gets negated and I go Ritual Doomsday, Preordain, 1 blue floating, can I actually win? I think the answer is no. So maybe we want to Preordain first. I mean, I think I'm going to do all the jamming. Jamming seems good. I guess I can get Mindbreak Trap. They have 2 Mindbreak Traps as well. Second Ritual Doomsday. I don't think I want these. Like, if I get my Doomsday countered, I'm not really close to rebuying, and I have to fetch here to cast Doomsday anyways. I don't have to. I could just technically draw all my cards and cast Ancestral. Don't know if that's what I want to be doing, though. Well, that certainly does nothing. I think I hate the way I played this turn. What if I just fetch and play? I can't play. I could fetch Ritual and play Dig Through Time. Well, I'm not casting Ancestral first, right? I'm going to cast Doomsday first. Like, just raw dogging an Ancestral right now does not seem like a big win. I guess if this Doomsday gets countered, I get to dig, right? I should play my Mox first. Guess I get dazed. Though they shouldn't have dazed in their deck. What am I kidding? I'm not sure that I am not convinced I like the way I played this. I guess if this gets negated, I don't get to dig. Or trapped, I don't get to dig. I guess I could respond with Ancestral, though. Which makes my bottom really silly. Should I have fetched before I cast Preordain? The thing is, I didn't want to expose the fact that I drew land for turn. I mean, if their hand has sufficient counter magic, they can just simply let this resolve and beat me on the stack and post Doomsday, which is like a totally reasonable thing you can do when you have a pile of counter magic in your hand. I almost think I want this to get Force of Willed, right? All right, got negated. Pitching Tinker. That's a good outcome. So I'm going to cast Ancestral Recall. I don't have Fluster in my deck, though. Why did I board Fluster out, man? That was so bad. It's okay if I get my whole stack trapped here anyways. This was bad. The way I play this turn just feels so all in for no reason. Why am I going all in for no reason? So they had Force, Windfall, Negation, Tinker. All right. Well, it kind of leaves me with nothing. I guess if I draw a fetch land, I have a Dig Through Time. I believe my opponent is on Wheels now that I've seen a Windfall, but my opponent is usually a bird of... Okay, so Grixis Wheels. So we didn't know they were on Grixis Wheels. Now I want my Flusters back in. Good lord. Which means they're on probably 4 Hold Breacher, 3 Bowmaster. Yeah. All right, we misboarded. I mean, we killed our opponent so early last game we didn't know. We do need the Fatal Push at the very least. That is such a bad draw. Can I afford to even play this? If they wheel, I really want it in play. I think we played that turn abysmally, but I guess it didn't really matter if they had force. Ugh. I would have been very tempted if I were them to negate the Black Lotus. But what do I know? I'm going to hold it. I don't think it's worth it. If they wheel, they wheel. I definitely am going to change how we board here. I didn't know they were going to be on Grixis wheels. I kind of looked like we didn't see enough in game one, but it looked like they were on the other deck. This is totally a winnable game if they don't have any more counter magic, right? We can dig through time and then go for Oracle combo. I think we can play it. Maybe we can't play it slow. Like if we play it slow, that means they keep a Tinker in their hand. So maybe playing it slow is really silly too. I don't really know how to evaluate a board state like that, and I'll have to go back and look and see if we can figure out a better path forward. Opponent is just playing land go. Do I play this mana crypt so that I can vamp? Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to vamp for Yogwill and try to win. It's unfortunate they hit 5 mana to cast Force. Oh, they drew Mental Misstep. Can I wait? Or do I just have to do this? I go to 9, I go to 7. Yeah, I can't force this. Want to flip? Lotus Petal. All right, we're going to cast this dig on their turn. And then I'm going to keep... two cards in yard, and I can pay Fluster right now. This looks like hard cast Force. I'll probably force back. It'll make my likelihood of winning very low because I don't have a second. I don't only have to use one Oracle, but I think I just need to draw some cards here. So, all right. I would like to see, I don't know, Oracle, Consult, and draw land. I have none of those magic cards. I don't think Tinker is going to get the job done against active Crypto Master. Necro not triggering Bowmaster is not really good enough, considering I'm still losing life. I'm going to 9 this turn, maybe down to 6 this turn. Like, how much can I really afford to do? Unfortunately, none of these cards are very good. It really stunk that I had to pitch my Oracle, but I didn't even draw cards to make the Oracle good either. So if I say worst case scenario, I'm at 6 and I cast Dark Ritual, Necropotence, I can draw 3 cards, go to 1. It's not even good. I mean, Gush, Preordain, I also don't even have 2 lands. It's not Necron YOLO. What? It's horrible. It's worse than casting Gush. How can you look at this and say Necro YOLO? Are you the person bringing down the Doomsday win rate, like Andreas said? I'd have to win both flips. Ritual Gush, draw Doomsday? How am I going to cast my Gush if I do that, bro? What are you talking about? Think a little. So if I don't take a mana crypt flip and I draw Tinker, right? Or Demonic Tutor. All right. I believe we're doing the dead here. Okay. All right. So we need to configure our board very differently here. The Mystical coming out is right because they're going to be Pyroblast, but we definitely want to have Flusters in. I can actually take Negation out. I actually don't really like Negation in this matchup. And then I'd like to just have access to Fatal Push. Snuff out, no good, but having access to Fatal Push will be important. I definitely want to keep my Mental Misstep in. Good God. So I like the idea of Shieldred here. I like the idea of Necropotence here. I like the idea of Dig and Yogwill. Maybe it's gonna be like Vamp's Hop. Oh, sorry, Mystical. Where's the Mystical back in my deck? Yeah, let's take out both Slow Tutors and run like this. Descend stinks. Mulligan. All right, we'll definitely take that. Just gonna go Ritual Necro and see if it gets resolved. We got a Resolver. You love to see it. I'm gonna draw 9 cards here. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of 2 of these lands and then Merchant. Preordain. Merchant, probably. All right, so I've got Misstep Force for their turn, and then I have Tinker on my turn with no Flusterstorm. Won't have the mana for it. I only have 10 life, though. I don't know if this Tinker is, like, the end-all, be-all. Should we misstep this? Doesn't seem very good. Tinker might not even be good enough here. I only have 10 life. It's not like I hit Dark Ritual or Doomsday, so I guess theoretically I don't have to go for Tinker. I can go Brainstorms and Preordains and refills. I think paying 2 life for Mental Misstep to stop Probe doesn't feel great. Like, I would like to be able to use Misstep if I have to, but I don't think... I am so hungry. Holy moly. All right. Saga Go. Interesting. Oh, okay. They have a jet. DT? Emerald, okay. All right, well, they don't have Fluster, so... Or Pyro. So it's clearly a Jam Tinker moment. They'll have to have double force. I guess they have Bowmaster, right? But whatever. I guess with on-color Jet, they have Bowmaster. If they cast Bowmaster, I probably have to let Bowmaster resolve, and then that might be bad. I don't have any slow tutors in my deck to find push either. I guess I have to force Bowmaster. And then they can force my Tinker, and I just have to refill and look for a Doomsday line. I guess that's fine. They know my hand, so they know I have a force, so they're just debating whether they want to play Bowmaster or not, I guess. Oh, I mean, definitely should play it in response, right? All right, whatever. I have a Citadel. I have a Jet. I have a land drop. Oh, I don't have a land drop. So does it make more sense to draw with top or to exile with Necro? Guess exile with Necro is slightly better. I have an Emerald. A push is nice. Push I'll draw with top. Dig through time. Can't say that's a good one. So they didn't do anything, so I'm going to draw top again. Ritual. Oracle. Holy moly, I'm running out of life here. Guess I can spin. Oh. Lol. Good deck building or something. Is there any way I can set this up where I can actually play my Flusterstorm, or are we just doomed? How can I play my Flusterstorm? I have to hit Lotus or Sapphire. So I can go... this puts me at 3, so I can go Dark Ritual and spin, and I'm going to be at 5, and I'll be at 2, and I'll be at 1 after 1 force. Like, what if they have, like, double Mindbreak Trap or something? They could have double Mindbreak Trap. All right, I don't think it hurts me to cast this ritual and do another spin. I can actually cast that, which is pretty sweet. So if I put that on top, draw it with top, cast it, and then play top. Wait, if I just play this Shieldred, I can just draw with top forever, right? So that's just better. Yeah, but if they counter Shieldred, we win. So that's good. Let's go! Let's go! Shieldred earning its spot. Okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. A nice little 4-0. I don't get to play the challenge this weekend, so this is the most I get to play. Quite happy with it. It was a good weekend. Yeah, so everything went as planned. I do think the only change I'd like to make is I'd like to just change the dress down in the sideboard and play a portal. I think having access to portal versus mono white will significantly increases our chance in the matchup. And I do think the matchup is worse than I originally thought. So I think that's the change I'd like to make moving forward, just a small sideboard change. But every other card seemed to be working as intended. Shieldred there, I had the win probably with Oracle Console, but the Shieldred is quite nice there as well. I initially, in the very first build of my deck, I had a Shieldred in the main, just giving me an alternate win con and Sensei's Top Citadel, and I found I didn't need it. But Shieldred is definitely a card that I'm looking for in like a Bazaar matchup, a Doomsday Mirror, a Wheel matchup. So I actually think this Shieldred is quite good. It's possible you could even play two Shieldreds. But Shieldred was definitely nice there, especially if I hadn't hit Oracle Console. I would have been able to go Shieldred and draw through my library, which is very nice. I like it. I'm going to just keep working on this deck, keep making small adjustments, little tuning, doing a lot of learning, because as you saw from today's stream, there's a lot of instances where you have a Doomsday and it's not straightforward and you need to figure out the best way forward that beats the majority of answers that are in your opponent's deck. And sometimes you forget about they could be playing a Phyrexian Metamorph and then it would copy their Torpor Orb and you only have a Force of Negation in hand, right? So not bad, not bad, not bad. Thank you everyone for hanging out. If you're not already checking out the YouTube channel, please go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribing on YouTube and following on Twitch are two free actions you can take to help support the channel. I would appreciate those very much. If you are new to Vintage, they got new Vintage videos on my YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I have the Discord link in the chat as well, where you can go talk to people and learn the format. I will catch you next time. See you then.